let's get started. We're gonna start in Supta Baddha Konasana, which is the bottoms of your feet together, sitting down, and your knees going out. All right, so, and then you can recline back. Now this is where blocks or pillows might be useful if you wanna not go as deep to start out. But we're gonna start with the feet together, then have your strap nearby in case you need it. It is helpful. So start with your feet together, knees out wide, and then recline back into Supta Baddha Konasana. So if that's too deep, you can put your blocks or pillows underneath the knees there. The closer they are in, the less pressure you'll have. The further out, if you want to work them outward, that's going to slowly start to open your hips. So this is an all levels yoga class. I do give a lot of options. So if you are whatever level you're at, if you're advanced, if you're just beginning, I'll give lots of options for you. So as you're laying here, I want you to take your right hand and put it over your low belly and the left hand over your heart. Close your eyes for a moment and just start to breathe through this moment. Starting to feel space in the body. And I want you to kind of scan through the body and start to take note if there's anywhere in your body you're feeling tight, if you have any aches or pains. Start to notice how you're feeling right now. That way, at the end of class, we'll circle back, see how we're feeling once we finish moving through the body. As you're breathing in, start to feel your body expand, the belly expand open, the lungs, the chest. And every exhale, feel everything just kind of push in as the air pushes out. Notice if you're clenching anywhere in your body, maybe you're clenching your jaw or you're pressing your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Go ahead and release all that. As we tend to remove tension from one area, sometimes we hold it in another. And a lot of times it's in our face, our shoulders, and our hips. So we're going to open all that stuff up today. Good. As you're sitting here, your knees are nice and wide as you're in Supta Baddha Konasana. I want you to take one more deep breath in together, filling all the way up, the biggest breath in you can. Feel your belly really expand and hold it at the top. When you're ready, open your mouth, exhale, release, let go. Now slowly take your hands to the outsides of your legs, pull your knees together and close them like a book. Then tuck your knees into your chest. Keep the back of your head on the mat. Have your belt or strap nearby in case you need it. Rock left to right on your low back. Again, make sure the back of your head's on the mat. Good. From here, pull each knee in and towards your armpits, separating the knees. Tuck your chin in, protecting, and you can roll out your ankles here if you'd like, one way then the other, just getting the joints open. Let the left leg go long, keep the right knee into the chest and squeeze. Keep your left shoulder on the mat if you can, both shoulders down. We're gonna open up our hips. This is where you're welcome to have your strap. If you can reach your toes, go for it here. But this is, like I said, where the strap can come in handy. Wrap it around the bottom of your foot or right around the ball of the foot. As we work on flexibility in the body, we tend to just want to get right to the point and try and touch everything and make ourselves touch our toes. What you want to do is take time. So notice, like for me, I just woke up a little bit, so I'm a little tight, a little sore, so I want to slowly open up. So my knee starts out as bent. Maybe I can touch my toes. And then slowly, with your foot flexed towards your face, start to straighten the leg a little at a time, whatever pace works for you. Kicking that heel toward the ceiling, flexing the toes toward the face. Keep the left leg long. If this is too much, you can bend the left knee and slowly straighten that leg as well. These are all ways to slowly build flexibility in the back of the legs. So maybe you have the left knee bent, maybe the right knee's bent, and you're slowly opening and you're slowly straightening. Anytime you're in anything Holding tension and tightness, remember to breathe. Bring oxygen into the bloodstream to flow through, oxygenate the muscles. Take another deep breath in. Maybe you straighten a little more. If your leg's already straight, maybe you pull the toes towards your face a little deeper. Good. Take one more deep breath. See how deep you can go here. Don't worry, we'll return here. And on the exhale, this time bring your right leg across this left side body for a supine twist. Now as you do this, roll up onto the left hip, but keep the right shoulder down. You're gonna feel an IT band stretch on the outside of the right leg. You're still holding with the strap or holding your big toes. Again, this is somewhere you can bend the right knee to start, and slowly begin to straighten. Keeping the right shoulder down is going to give you a supine twist in the spine, but also open up your IT band that runs on the outside of your right hip. Your iliotibial band gets very tight. If you're an athlete, a runner, or if you sit, that band goes from the outside of your hip down to the outside of your knee. Keeping that right shoulder down, maybe you can let your foot fall to the floor, or maybe you hold it up. Maybe you're slowly beginning to straighten. Feel tightness and tension let go. Notice if you're clenching through your face or clenching your jaw. We want to let all that go. 2 more breaths here. See if you can go a little deeper. Allow your body to open. And on your next inhale, come back through center where we started, flat on the back. Staying flat on your back this time, let the right leg fall out to the right. Keep the left hip rolling down. Hips are squared off with the ceiling. This is again where you can start with the legs slightly bent and slowly begin to straighten. Keep your left hand on your left hip and press the left hip into the mat. We don't want to be rolling up, we'll defeat the purpose. You're making almost an L shape with your body if you can, with your lower legs. And like I said, if you need to, you can start out bent, slowly kicking toward the side wall. You're still flexing the foot. We hold all this tension and emotion in our hips. If anything comes up for you, that's okay, it's normal. Let any emotions go in this class. We're gonna get deep into these muscles, deep into the tissues. You might feel a lot of emotions, can be happy, anger, sad, anything that comes up. Allow it to flow out. On your next inhale, come back through center where we started and hold. This is where you can see if you've opened a little more, maybe you go a little deeper. Your left leg might be bent or it might be straight. Maybe you start to straighten it if it wasn't already there. Flex your toes a little more, pull a little deeper. Make sure the back of your head's on the mat. We're protecting the neck. And release that foot. Bend your right knee in. Just lay your strap to the side for a moment. Pull both knees in, rock left to right. Now hug into the left knee. Straighten the right leg. Pull that knee in. Again, make sure the back of the head stays on the mat. Roll out the ankle. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze towards your armpit. This is where we take the strap. Same thing on this side. You can put it to the bottom of the foot. If you want to start off with that right knee bent, you can. Also, if you want to start with the left knee bent, you can. And we're slowly doing what we just did on the other side. We're slowly opening, slowly working our way in. If you're feeling a little tight today, that's completely fine. In flexibility, we take baby steps into building the depth that we want to get to. Good. Maybe you pull your toes a little closer. Don't forget to breathe. Every time you inhale, let up a little bit, and on the exhale, maybe try and go a little deeper. You'll feel this all the way through the hamstrings. If you're flexing the toes, you may feel all the way through the calf. Take another deep breath in. On the exhale, we find that supine twist. The left foot comes all the way across the right side body. Roll up on the right hip, but keep the left shoulder down. The left leg is either straight or slightly bent. Maybe your left foot hits the ground, maybe it stays up hovering. That's completely normal either way. Just keep that left shoulder rolling down. Flex the toes, whether your foot's or your leg is straight or bent, we want to be flexing. Take 2 more deep breaths here. Notice your IT band on this side. Maybe you're feeling a little tighter on this side, maybe you're a little more open. That band is slowly loosening. See it in your mind as your muscles are unwinding and opening. On your next inhale, come back through center where we started. Flat on the back, head stays on the mat. On the exhale, open up to the left. Keep the right hand on the right hip. Keep that right hip rolling flat on the mat. Hip stay square to the ceiling. Keep letting that left foot fall toward the mat a little at a time. Opening up through your hip joints. Your leg may be down here, it may be bent. Another thing you can do is bend a little higher and then begin to straighten. So many options. Do what feels good in your body. You can slowly work your hand down the strap so you get towards your toes, reaching for the big toe in the end. Find 2 more deep breaths. Keep that right shoulder down, right hip down. On your next big inhale, come back through center. Take your time. Right where we started, remember your options. Maybe you're going a little deeper here. Flex the toes towards your face. Feel the backs of the legs open. Again, that right knee might be straight, might be bent. Feel what feels good in your body. See where you can go in depth. 1 more breath in. Release and exhale. Set your strap to the side for a moment. Pull both knees into the chest. Rock left to right. Now rock and roll along the spine 2 or 3 times. And come all the way up, rolling all the way through to all fours. Once you get to all fours, make sure that our toes are either tucked or you can have them on top with the feet on top of the mat. Shoulders stacked on top of the wrists and the elbows. Gaze is down, shoulders pull away from the ears. Make sure your hips are stacked over the knees. Finding a little cat-cow or open up the spine slightly. We're going to hold these cat-cows. A lot of times in yoga, we kind of flow through them, but since we're working on flexibility and opening long, tight muscles, we're going to hold our cat and cow a little longer. So take a deep breath in, drop the belly down, gaze goes up, shoulders pull away from the ears, tailbone points to the sky. Gaze is up. Really feel it opening to the front of the body. Engage your abdominal muscles. Exhale, press away from your mat. Arch the spine, tuck the chin in, tuck the tailbone, pull your navel in. Press, press, press. Really feel like you're crunching in, like you're doing a crunch in this position in your abdominals. Inhale, gaze up, drop the belly down. Shoulders drop down. You're in cow pose here, tailbones pointing to the sky. Palms are nice and wide like starfish hands. Dig your fingertips into the mat to take pressure off the wrists. Exhale, press away from the mat. Think of the shoulder blades separating. You're arching through the spine. You're tucking the tailbone in. Holding, crunch, crunch, crunch. 1 more of each inhale. Drop the belly down. Gaze goes up. Same thing we've been doing. Exhale, arch the spine, tuck the tailbone. Hold in here, 1 more breath. And exhale, come to a neutral spine. In your neutral spine, your abdomen's pulling in, tailbone slightly tucked. We're not sitting here with just letting our body hang. We want to be active in this posture. We're going to thread the needle. Inhale, your left arm goes up. Gaze follows. And feel that nice opening twist to the spine. Try and keep your hips squared off with the mat so we don't want to roll open through the hips, just the shoulders. Shoulders can be stacked over one another here if you can open that much. See how far back you can go. If this is too much, you can always bend the elbow and open with the hand behind the back of the head. So whatever works on your shoulders. On your next exhale, thread the needle. Left arm goes behind the right wrist. Bring the back of your arm down, shoulder down, forehead meets the mat. Right arm can go long in front of you, or you can find a bind behind the back. Bend the right arm and put it to the low back. Wherever you are, let your chest fall into the biceps, so your arms pressing in. You should feel a nice stretch of the deltoid that runs outside along the shoulder, down the arm. Remember to breathe. If you've got any tension and tightness here, let go. Take one more deep breath in. Stay for your exhale. Wherever your right arm is, maybe pull it back, press the right hand underneath the shoulder. Begin to press yourself up, unwind, go all the way back open. Inhale, left arm up, hold here. And exhale, bring the left palm down. Reset, make sure you're in that neutral spine. Inhale, right arm goes up, stretch, reach, hold here. Same thing, gaze is up. Try and stack the shoulders over one another. If that's too much, bend the elbow, keep the right hand behind the back of the head. That might help if you have shoulder issues. Stretch, 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 open. Exhale, right arm behind the left. Bring your head down, forehead to the mat. Left arm can go long or find that bind behind the back. We're holding these postures a little longer than normal. This is where flexibility begins to build. We do some yin type postures. We hold things a little longer. We slowly work into things that feel too tight. Imagine all these muscles opening, the fibers pulling apart, making space. Find another big deep breath in. Open mouth, exhale, release. Bring your left palm back underneath the left shoulder. Begin to press yourself up. Inhale, right arm reaches back up where you started. And exhale, hands come down. Moving in to puppy pose, opening the shoulders a little more. Some options here. We can go really deep into this. You might want a block nearby, but it's not necessary. If you want to go a little deeper, the block will be helpful. So for puppy pose, you're going to sit your hips back and slide your hands forward. The goal is to try and get your chest to the mat. That might be feasible for some, it might not. And then your chin to the mat. So you're still on your knees. If that's not feasible, just slowly go until you can't go anymore, almost like you're going into a child's pose, but your hips are staying off your heels. Palms are nice and wide. Now, if you want more, you can go and straighten your legs. Come to the balls of the feet for a full puppy pose. You'll feel this in the back of the legs. You're getting a nice opener through the thoracic mid-back. Staying here for one more breath. And bring the knees down. Reset. Pull yourself back up to all fours. Give me a little arch to the spine for our cat pose. And inhale, cow pose, gaze up. Good. Give it a little quicker, a little cat-cow back and forth. Just opening that spine. We're going to do that again. Now, if you want to go deeper, this is where a block will come in handy. Have your block sitting so it'll be underneath your chin on the lowest level. Again, take the level. You might want to go straight into the same thing you did last time. Maybe you want to go a little deeper. So toes are tucked. Slide yourself forward, and maybe you stay wherever you can slide, working toward getting your chest to the mat. Now, if you want, take your chin, put it on the block. Lift your chest, rest on the mat. Again, if you want more, hips up, full puppy pose. Feel that low back opener, getting flexibility through all those big muscles. Slight back bends. And release out. Slowly bring yourself up. Bring your big toes to touch, knees go wide, hips back, child's pose. Bring your forehead to the mat. Take 2 breaths here. Allow your neck and head to relax. Massage maybe your forehead left to right. Good, come back to all fours. This is gonna be one more time. This is your next option if you wanna go a little deeper. Take your block to the next level. Again, you can go the same place you were. Maybe you're just sliding a little deeper each time. We're slowly opening the flexibility in our spine and in our muscles back there. So, see how far you can go with this one. Sliding forward. Again, trying to meet our chest to the mat. This time you can bring your chin to the block on the second level. Maybe you stay here. Chest should be on the mat if your chin is on the block. Then your hips go up, straighten the legs. Breathe for 4, 3. Feel that opener for 2. And 1, release yourself down. Press yourself back up. Find that child's pose. Hips wide, or excuse me, knees wide, toes together, chin down. Breathe, child's pose. 2 breaths here, deep breaths in. Deep breaths out. On your next inhale, come back to all fours. Move that block out of the way. Come down to Sphinx pose. Come to your belly. Palms are nice and wide. Shoulders are stacked over the elbows. Tops of the feet are on the mat. Feet are a little bit about hip width distance apart. This might be the space you stay in. Keep your forearms down. Dig your fingers into the mat and kind of pull your chest through. You're not moving or lifting. You're just feeling a nice little opener through the chest here as you do that. Your gaze is forward. Tuck your chin slightly to protect the neck. Little back bend here. If you want more, press yourself up, straighten the arms. As long as your hips are still on the mat, you're feeling that back bend in the low back. Open your front muscles, the abdominals, and your hip flexors are going to really open here. If you want more, walk your hands towards your hips. Hips are still on the mat. Moving into seal pose. Tops of the feet are still on the mat. Now you may be in Sphinx, you may be halfway up, you may be here. All levels are good. I want you to breathe. Feel the front of your body open. You have all this tension and tightness we hold through there. Feel all that open. Nice little back bend. You can tuck your chin, or if it feels good, let your head fall back. Just listen to your spine and what feels good. Good. If you're up, slowly walk down. Find yourself back in Sphinx. Hold there. Next option, we're going to do a little bit of twisting. Kick your left heel towards your glute. You can stay in Sphinx pose to do this and twist open, grab for that foot. Feel a little snap, crackle, pop. If you want more, come back up to the level you were and then open and twist. Twists are really nice for the internal organs, also for keeping mobility in your spine, preventing injuries, teaching our bodies to move in different ways, detoxifying the internal organs by putting pressure when we twist. I always say it's like wringing out an old dish rag. It's like you're pressing on your liver, your spleen, you're just pressing, and that toxins release. Go ahead and release the left foot down. Come back to Sphinx pose if you're not already there. Same thing, other side, kick the right heel toward the glute. Reach back with the right hand. You can stay here twisting. If you want to go a little deeper, lift yourself up first, then twist open to the right. Pulling that heel. What you're really working on is the twist here more than anything. Feel that opening through the back. You'll feel it through the thoracic spine, down to the lumbar, midline to the low back. One more breath. Good, feel yourself release. This time come down, put your forehead to the mat, arms by your sides. Kick the heels up and left to right, windshield wiper the legs. Just releasing the low back. Good, release your feet back down. Come back into Sphinx pose to start. Kick your left and right heel back. This time you're gonna reach back for your tops of your feet. You can use a strap here if you can't reach your feet. Reach for the tops of the feet here on the outside. And you're gonna push your feet into your hands and lift your chest. If you wanna go even further, lift your thighs off the mat. This is bow pose. Kick, kick, kick. Opening the shoulders, opening the back for 4. See if you can go a little higher for 3, 2. Release on the 1. Bring your cheek to the mat, arms by the sides. Again, you can windshield wipe the legs if you want. Getting all these little back bends and openers. Good, release your feet back down to the mat. We're gonna do that one more time. See if we can open just a little more. Kick both heels in. Grab for the outside of your feet or use your straps to wrap around your foot. Take a breath in. And on the exhale, kick into your hands. Maybe you just are slightly up, that's okay. Maybe you come all the way up. Maybe you lift your thighs. Gaze is forward for 4, 3. Little higher for 2. 1, release everything down, cheek to the mat. Again, you can windshield wiper your legs here. Good. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Press yourself up and back. Child's pose. Knees wide, toes touch. Forehead down. Feel the release in the low back here. Take a deep breath in. Big exhale out, release. On your next inhale, come back to all fours. We're gonna do a little bit of toe stretching. I try and include this in every class I teach when it comes to flexibility and stretching. So a couple options. You're welcome to have a block or a pillow with you. Depends on the flexibility of your feet, honestly. And if you don't do these stretches, you're gonna feel a lot of tightness and tension in this. So once you're on all fours, tuck all 10 toes under, knees are together, and sit your hips back to your heels. You might just stay here. We're gonna be here for a few breaths, so know that wherever space you find yourself in, we're gonna be here. If you want more, come up and sit your hips onto your heels. If you wanna sit up but want less, put a block or a pillow underneath your glutes. It'll take a little pressure off. As you're in this toe stretch, you're gonna feel all this almost burning sensation to the toes. We're cutting off circulation to our feet, mainly our toes. We're stopping the blood flow, so when we release out of this, we're gonna let the blood flush in, get your circulatory system flowing through all your extremities, lower extremities down there. While we're waiting, let's do a little eagle arms. Open your arms up, big breath in, and on the exhale, take your right arm, go underneath the left. Full eagle, you're gonna wrap all the way around so palms meet. If that's not accessible, completely fine. You can do back to the palms or grab for opposite shoulders. Try and work your hands back all the way to your scapula or whatever is accessible. So find your layer here. Then try and get your elbows up in alignment with the shoulder, whatever layer you're in. Pull your navel into your spine. We're sitting up nice and tall. If you want a little more, we've been opening the back, so you can back bend here. All these different layers and options, do what feels good. You may not even have eagle arms, that's completely fine. As you lean back, you're putting pressure on those toes. On your next inhale, come through center, unravel, open up. This is about to feel really good. Bring your hands down. Untuck the toes. Feel the blood flow. Tight, little tiny taps of the tops of the feet. Feel that blood flow to your toes. So important to have flexibility in our feet. The forgotten little spaces in our body are our hands and our feet. Now, keep the tops of your feet down, sit your hips back this time. Ankle stretch, toe stretch. You can stay here. If you want more, sit up. If you want even more, lean back. And if you want to go full extension, bring your knees off the mat. Couple cracks in my ankles, which felt nice. You can bring your hands forward or leave them back for balance. If you want to work on balance, bring your arms out in front of you. Find a little balance, find something to concentrate on. And when you come out of this, bring your hands back first. Put pressure there, then slowly release the knees. Push yourself forward, come to all fours. This time, roll out the ankles, flex the feet. And guess what? We get to do it again, building flexibility in our feet. I want you to take note of how it feels on this round. I usually notice I feel a little more open. It's not as tense and tight. Go ahead and tuck the toes. Maybe you try for a deeper layer this time. Whatever works for you. Maybe you stay right here. Come up. This is your fullest expression. Or sit that blocker pillow underneath the glutes. That's going to take a little pressure off as well. Keeping the toes tucked. If you're up, sit up nice and tall. We'll do some eagle arms. Open the arms. Inhale, big breath. On the exhale, left arm comes underneath the right. Find your layer. Back of the hands meet. Maybe you wrap all the way around. Grab for opposite shoulders. Whatever layer you're in, try and keep the elbows in alignment with the shoulders. And breathe. Lifting a little higher. Maybe you find that back bend. Feel the pressure go onto the balls of the feet. Pressure hips forward. And inhale, come back through center. Lift the elbows one more inch once again. Exhale, open up, arms wide. Those toes ready to release, I'm sure they are. Come forward, untuck slowly. Feel the release of blood flow to those toes. That circulatory system is happy, your feet are happy. Same thing, tops of the feet to the mat, hips go back to the heels. We're gonna go a little deeper this time. If it's in your practice, I'll show you one more layer you can take. So you might be here, maybe you lift the knees, maybe you balance. If you want more, bring your hands forward with the knees up. Tuck the chin and the knees together for 4, 3, 2. Bring your knees down on the 1. Bring yourself forward to all fours. Roll out. And that should feel good. Good. As we're in this position, going back into the hips a little bit. We're going to find ourselves in frog pose. Frog pose, knees are going to start to go wide to the outside edges of the mat. This is somewhere you might want to have a blanket if you have any knee pressure. If it hurts to have knees with pressure, or you can double your mat over so it's got an extra cushion. So what we want to make sure we do in frog pose is our knees are going to start to slide away open. Your hips are going to want to go forward here. You want your hips in alignment with those knees. Now notice my feet are like frog feet. Flex the toes. The arch side of the foot is down. The heels are in toward the midline, toward one another. This might be where you're staying. If you want more, you can come down to the forearms. Just make sure you're not shifting forward when we do this. That's not what we want. We want hips in alignment with the knees. This will be a lot easier, but it's also not doing much. So go as deep as you can, letting those knees slide apart. Feel the inner thighs open. We're here for a few breaths, so get comfy. Flex those knees, or flex those feet to protect the knees. Remember to breathe. Now take note, are you clenching your jaw? Are you pressing your tongue in your mouth? Are you crunching your eyes? Are you holding tension in your shoulders? Just try and let everything release and breathe. What are we letting go of in class? Stay present in your body. Mind-body connection here. One more breath. Don't forget what you get into, you have to come out of. So slowly walk your hands up if you're down. And then bring your heels together, tops of the feet come to the mat, sit your hips back. It's usually the easiest way. If you're really deep, then bring the knees together. Tuck your toes, roll your feet out in front of you. Knees are bent, feet are flat. And then windshield wiper the legs left to right. This should just feel good after the hip opener you did. Good. While we're here, straighten the legs out in front of us. Couple options here. If you want to try and go deeper, you'll need a block. If you want to try and touch your toes, a couple options, you can use your strap. We're going to be doing staff pose, so important things here. Sitting up tall before we come down to touch our toes. So a lot of people are trying to reach like this, and what they're doing is they're pushing their back, they're tucking their chin, and they can't touch their toes. So what you want to do is sit up nice and tall, navel in, and think about pressing your top of your torso into your thighs more than trying to reach your toes. So you don't even have to touch your toes, just start to go like this. Once you're ready, reach for the toes, once you can't go anymore. If you want, you can bend the knees here to reach for the toes and then slowly straighten. But as you straighten, don't arch the spine, press your torso into your thighs as you straighten. The other option is to have your strap here. Flex the feet towards your face, pull yourself down, pulling this way. If you already can touch your toes and you're laying on your torso, you can always take a block and put it behind the feet and reach behind as you bring your torso down. Now, once you're flat on your thighs, that's when you can let your head relax toward your shins. So what's important is how we get into these stretches to build that flexibility. Hamstrings stay super tight. So this is a big opener. Flex your toes, don't forget. If you're slowly bending, just continue to work yourself open. Slowly straightening the legs, slowly pressing the torso into the thighs. On your next inhale, sit up slightly, reset. Make sure the spine is long. And on your exhale, go a little deeper in whatever level you're in. Just remember to flex the feet. That's where you're going to get the deep flexibility. And if you point them, you'll notice you can go a little deeper. We want to flex so we're feeling the deep stretch. Getting deep in our muscle fibers. You might even feel your low back open through all the back bends. Good, slowly work yourself back up. We're gonna open up the legs. I'm just gonna face towards you. Open your legs to a V as wide as you can here. Options here, same thing. I wanna make sure you keep your spine long. So same thing we did in staff pose. So as you come forward, keep your toes flexed to protect the knees and get more flexibility. As you come forward, we tend to come like this and try and reach for the ground. Sit up tall, shoulders down and back. Think of pushing your torso towards the mat. You might just come to here. As long as you're feeling that stretch and you're going as deep as you can until your body's saying to stop. That's all that you want to get to. Now, if you want to keep going, work your hands out. And eventually you're sliding. Just make sure, notice my torso is long. I'm not arching, I'm not tucking my chin. Continue to gaze forward as you work your chest and chin toward the floor. Again, this is the fullest layer. Your spine stays long no matter what position you're in. Feel the inner thighs open, toes are staying flexed. Again, as you're working through flexibility, stay right where you are. As you're working through flexibility, when we keep the spine elongated and we press the chest forward, you're gonna feel that in the inner thighs. Rather than if you're arching to the spine, people tend to push their hips forward and try and reach. You'll get nowhere in flexibility that way. You wanna press forward. Take 2 more breaths in the space you're in. And on your next inhale, work your way back up slowly. Good. Then bring your legs together. Come back over to all fours. Moving into our first down dog. Backs of the legs have been opened up a little bit. When we move into down dog, I have this question a lot. How close should your feet be to your hands? Anytime you move into down dog, as long as your shoulders and wrists are stacked and your hips are over the knees, you tuck those toes and you push up and back toward your heels. That's your down dog right there. Make sure your hands are shoulder width distance, feet are hips width distance. Now pedal one heel down, then the other. You'll feel your calves open here. Take your time. The other thing in down dog is people tend to try and hold their head up. Let your head fall between the biceps. Press through between your thumb and your forefinger to take pressure off the wrist. Dig your finger mounds into the mat and press your chest towards your thighs. Find stillness in your legs. Don't pedal for a moment and feel yourself press through your palms and press your chest toward your thighs. Feel that nice little opener in the back of the legs. Good. On the next inhale, come to the balls of both feet. On the exhale, melt both heels down as deep as you can. Feel the backs of the legs open. Let's do that again. Inhale, both heels high. Exhale, melt both heels down. One last time. Inhale, both heels high. Keep your head hanging between the biceps. Exhale, both heels down. Moving into pyramid pose. Inhale your right leg high. Go as high as you want. Maybe you open up the hip. Try and kick the heel towards the glute. Try and keep your shoulders squared off with one another. You don't want to open through the shoulders, just the hip. If this is too much, you can drop the left heel, or excuse me, left knee down and come from here if it's too much pressure on the wrists. Take one more breath. On the exhale, bring your right foot between your hands. As you're staying here, we're going to move into pyramid pose. Pyramid pose, you're going to step your back foot in halfway. Front knee stays bent. This is where you can use blocks if you want on the outside of your feet. But your front knee is going to start off being bent, and you're going to start to slowly straighten. Now, this is like I said, you could put blocks on either side of your foot. Both your feet are facing toward the front of the room. Hips are squared off, so pull your right hip back, left hip forward. The other option is to be up here and hold on to your thigh with a flat back. Again, people want to arch, flat back, slowly working your way down. This takes balance. If your hands are down, you need to bend in your knee, that's great. If you're able to, go ahead and bring your forehead to your shin. Pull your right hip back to the back of the room. Now this is your deepest layer. If you want even more, lift your toes up, ground your right heel into the mat, press your forehead towards your shin. That's your deepest level. Make sure those hips are staying square. You're going to feel that a little through the IT bands. Remember, those work on the outside of your hips. Flexing the toes if you're in that space. Good. Release your foot down if it's up. Step your left foot up to meet the right. Find yourself in Ragdoll Pose. Feet are hips width distance apart. Hold yourself here. Nice bend in the knees. Let your arms hang heavy, head hangs heavy. Waver left to right. Good. If you want a little more, you can take your hands and clasp them behind your low back and let them fall over your neck. Now again, in Ragdoll Pose, our knees are bent, so that's going to give you a little more traction through the spine. We're not straightening the legs as of yet. release your hands down. Moving back into pyramid pose, other side. This time, we're gonna have the left leg stay forward, right foot's going back. You got about 2 feet between your feet. Make sure both feet are pointing forward. Now it's the same thing. You can bend to that front knee. You can have blocks on either side of your foot. But notice I don't have a huge gap because I want my back heel down. So again, you can be up here. Just make sure your back is flat. You can grab onto your upper thigh or your shin. Just don't be arching through with your shoulders. Long, flat back. And this is where you can slowly work down your shin. Pull your left hip back, right hip forward. Feel that difference when you do that. Now, if you want even more, you can go ahead and bring your chin to your shin. Press that left hip back, right hip forward. Feel that opening. And then your deepest expression, flex your left toes, pull your head down. Many layers here. This is a great pose to build flexibility in because you work on the IT bands along with your hamstrings, and you can get in all the way up to the glutes, down to your heel. So take one more breath, see if you can go a little deeper, whatever posture you're in. Good. Go ahead and relax your foot down if it's up. Take a slight bend, step forward, Ragdoll Pose. This time in Ragdoll Pose, your knees are starting out slightly bent. We're going to move into Tadasana, Gorilla Pose. Options here. You're going to lift, make sure your feet are hips width distance. Lift the balls of your feet up, take your hands and slide them underneath. So your toes are touching the backs of your wrists. Pressure of the ball of the feet goes into your palms. Nice bend in the knees. If that's not accessible, just take your tips of your fingers and go underneath the tips of the toes. Now, when you're in this, you can rock a little bit, but notice how you lose. If you go too far, you're going to somersault. So tuck and roll if you do it. But feel that little massage. Options here for more flexibility. Pause in the center. This is where you can start to straighten one leg, maybe bend a little deeper in the other. Hold it. You might just stay where we were. This is just options to build flexibility depending on your level. Good. Now bend both knees to the opposite leg. Straighten, bend the opposite. This is very big openers. It is not abnormal to not be able to do this. This is what we're working toward if you're not already there. Good. Bend both knees. Now we straighten both legs. Pull our chin toward our thighs. Let your elbows bend and hang like gorilla arms. That's why this is gorilla pose. Again, you might not be here. Just bend the knees and hang. Feel that opening all the way up the legs. Good. Go ahead and bend both legs. Lift your palms. Bring your hands out. Keep your feet where they are. We're going to roll up slowly here. Keep the bend in the knees. As the arms hang and dangle, let the head dangle. And we're going to slowly roll up at my count. Let your head be the last thing to come up. Shoulders are released for 4. Rolling up, arms are hanging for 3. Continue up for 2. And all the way up on the 1. Shoulders down and back. Head comes up last. Moving into Tadasana Mountain Pose. As you're in Mountain Pose, roll your shoulders down and back. Now move your big toes to touch. Sliver of light through the heels. Arms are open, palms face forward. Tuck your chin in, tuck the tailbone. I always talk about this pose because people tend to just kind of stand in mountain pose. We want to be upright, chin tucked, tailbone, navel into spine. Your final touch is lifting the kneecaps so you ignite the quads. Dig every toe into your mat. Feel strong and stable in this. So if somebody came up to push you, they couldn't push you over. Take a breath in here. Open mouth, exhale. Good. We're going to move into a little more spinal mobility. Inhale your arms up overhead. On the exhale, just tick-tock over to your right as far as you can. Your palms can meet together. Option for your right hand to come down your thigh for support. Wherever you are, start to roll open a little more at a time. A lot of times we come forward. You should be able to gaze up past your armpit and just see the ceiling. Feel that opening from the left hip all the way to the tips of the fingers. Pressure is going into the left foot, almost like you're pressing your left hips into the sidewall. Gaze is up. Reach, reach, reach. Feel that reach as you try and touch the wall. Inhale, come back through center. Over to the other side, exhale over to the left. As you're here, maybe you stay. If you want a little more, bring your left hand down and start to press your right hips towards the right side. We're opening the intercostal cartilage between the ribs. We're opening the muscles that run along the side body. Gaze up to the ceiling. Press your right foot into the mat. Try and reach just a little more. Feel that opening. Inhale, come back through center. Moving into a back bend here. Exhale, hands can come to the low back. As you do this, the elbows squeeze together. Slight bend in the knees and press your hips forward. Now, you might go a little deeper. Maybe your gaze goes to the back of the room. Feel a little crack in your back, that's all good. Make sure you're holding through the abdominals and make sure you breathe in your back bends. Inhale, come back through center. Arms come up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, ragdoll pose. Feet can come to about hips width distance apart again. Hang here for a moment. Take 2 breaths. We're going to work through that one more time. On your next inhale, slowly roll up for 4. Let the arms hang through 3. Moving through to 2. Head comes up on the 1, shoulders down and back. Inhale, the arms up overhead. On the exhale, tick-tock over to your right. Same thing, you can let your arms hang. Reach. Feel that opening, stretching. Gaze up to the ceiling. Make sure you're nice and squared off. And inhale, come back through center. Exhale over to your left, up and over, rainbow over, reach. Press. Gaze up. Feeling a little more open this time. Inhale back through center. Find your back bend. This time your arms come to the low back. You can do the same support as you did before. If you're looking for more, you can leave your arms up overhead and reach. Inhale back through center. Exhale, forward fold. Bring your feet hips width distance apart if they're not already there. Hold here. Now we're going to squat and curl. Come to the balls of the feet. Curl into a little ball. Tuck your chin into your chest, forehead towards your knees. This should feel good on the low back. And go ahead and have a seat down. Good. Bring your feet together like we did at the beginning of the class, Supta Baddha Konasana. This is just Supta Baddha because we're not relaxing back. Now, this is an option. You can have those blocks underneath if you'd like. We're going to get a little flexibility left. What's left in our hips to open. Bottoms of the feet are together. Take your hands, wrap them around your toes. Now, pull yourself forward. If your elbows can touch your inner thighs, press your inner thighs away. The closer your heels are to your person, the harder it's going to be. The further out they are, the deeper you'll be able to go. So choose your layer. I want you to watch my back as well. It's the same thing we've been doing all morning. We're going to make sure our back is long and pulling our chest toward our feet. Pull up on the feet. And notice we're not just arching forward. We're using the chest to get down towards the mat, towards your feet. Fullest expression is getting your forehead to the mat. Two more breaths. You'll feel this deep opener in your hip joints. Then on your next inhale, pull yourself up. Close your knees together. Bring your feet out, knees stay bent. And you're gonna slowly tuck your chin, bring your arms by your sides, roll all the way back down to your back, one vertebrae at a time. Good, head meets the mat. Pull both knees into the chest where we started. Close your eyes, rock left to right, massage the low back. And find your happy baby. Grab for the bottoms of your feet if that's not accessible. Grab for your ankles or behind the thighs. As you grab, pull down, press your knees toward the mat, massage and rock. Keep the back of your head down. If you want a little more, this is where you can open up, straighten your leg, one leg at a time, then the other, or both. See how open you've become in class. Bend your knees. Tuck them back in. This time, bring your head off the mat. Tuck your forehead to your knees. Tuck into a little ball. Take a big breath in. Big breath of gratitude. And on the exhale, Shavasana pose. Let go, release. Lying flat on your back. This is our most important pose. This is where your muscles release. The lactic acid flows away. Tuck your chin slightly. Your palms face up as the fingers curl naturally. Feet fall out to the side. Your eyes rest in their sockets. This is the time where you glance over the body once more. I will bring you back at the end of your Shavasana. This is your time of reflection over your practice. Notice how you feel now compared to the beginning of class. Take a few breaths and I'll bring you back in just a moment. Back to the space you're in. Of course, you're always welcome to lay in Shavasana as long as you like. Maybe you massage your head left to right, feeling the nerve endings begin to awaken. Start to roll out your wrists, wiggle your toes. Taking everything nice and slow. Bring your arms up overhead. And reach for the back of the room as your toes reach in the opposite direction, pulling your part of your body from the midline. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, come back and roll onto your left or right side, the fetal position for just a moment. And when you're ready, keeping the eyes closed, meet me seated on your mat. Bowing your head forward. Palms pressed together at heart center. Thinking over what you let go of during class. Be sure you mentally let go and don't take it with you after this moment. Finding gratitude for all of us coming together from all over the world. Finding gratitude for showing up. We bring our thumbs to the third eye center, a space between the eyebrows, space of intuition, space of open-mindedness, open-minded with ourselves, open-minded to one another. Bowing forward, namaste. Thank you all so much for joining. Again, I'm Andrea.